What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack them. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on wax. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe, hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bull Scripted, and we are eliminated. The Chicago Bulls are eliminated. And if you're watching us live, I'm smiling because that's a defense mechanism, so I don't cry. That's where we're at right now. Before we get into this, be sure to go on tapsportsnet.com for other Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at BullScripted, me at BuzzOnTap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. If you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, please go over to the YouTube if you get the chance. Subscribe to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube channel. That'd be really, really awesome. Goose got you a gift at betrivers.com. Use promo code ONTAP. If you deposit $250, they will match that. That's $500. Goose is giving you $250 for free. I don't know why he's doing it. We lost, but he's doing it. So go to betrivers.com. Use promo code ONTAP. They will match up to $250 of your first deposit. Goose, this is it, man, and I'm a little emotional. I'm a little emotional. I do want to thank Joe and Nate right now for
who are not making it easier for you not to cry.
Yeah, I'm upset. I'm really upset right now. This sucks. I did not want it to go down this way, but you know what, man? We ran into the Milwaukee Bucks, who are the defending NBA champions, and Goose, we lost a couple key guys in this series. I don't know if it would have been any different if they stuck around, and we're going to get into that in this episode too. But how you feeling, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, going into tonight without Zach, without Alex, and obviously without Zoe, there was less than zero expectations. It was negative expectations.
So you felt like that way off the bat then?
Yeah, I mean, ever since we got the news that Zach was entering the health and safety, even before that, I was still just going to approach the game like, you know what, just enjoy it. Don't put too much weight on it. You know, if they steal another game and kind of extend this series, awesome, all for it. But at this point, after what we saw happen to us at home in back-to-back games, there really wasn't any more expectations or hope or anything left inside of me. So I was just going to enjoy the last game tonight. And with the news of Zach and Alex not playing, we had that taken from us in a sense too. I mean, I still got to enjoy the game. We got Io starting. We got Pat playing meaningful minutes and getting meaningful touches in a playoff game against the defending champs, like you said. So there are positives. There's a lot of good takeaways from the season as a whole. We should probably do a season recap.
We absolutely will do that for sure. Yeah, we'll absolutely.
Tonight it's just a little cumbersome, little melancholy at the second because it is over. And given how it ended, it leaves a lot to question of what could happen come the offseason. This might be the only iteration of this team that we get to see, and that's also a little sad. So
yeah, I just feel so odd, like how that all ended and stuff. And we saw some kind of crazy things tonight, even like that are takeaways. I don't know if I call them good. I call them kind of concerning. Billy getting really mad at the team there in the second quarter when they weren't pushing and running. They were actually on like a little bit of a surge, which wasn't really a surge, but they were doing something, right? They weren't just lying down and dying, and they weren't running and not pushing the pace, and Billy got really mad at that. Then you kind of look at DeMar DeRozan's track record and on how he kind of stops that a little bit because he's always kind of looking and trying to find his spot. You had to deal with that tonight. We had to deal with I mean, a rotation and a starting lineup that is not suitable to be in the playoffs. So that kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth a little bit, like going out that way. But there's nothing we could do about it. I mean, Zach LaVine, there's some huge news. Our guy Joe Colley broke today that Zach LaVine is going to get off-season knee surgery, and that 70 to 80% that he said he was at was more like 50. And I need to find the episode where you said that. You said you didn't believe that. I don't know if you remember saying that. You said, I don't believe he's 70, 80. He's got to be more like 50. He's probably saying 70, 80, but he's 50. You said that. I have to find that clip and throw it up. But you were right. Zach had something. They haven't said what it is yet, but it was something bad. Now, we can sit here and debate, and I do want to kind of use this little bit of time because, I mean, what am I going to do for all the people that have been in here? I want to include them in on the conversation.
Talk about how many threes you missed.
Oh, my God. And we averaged, 20-something a game this year? How many did they
jack up? 50.
We have 52. They jacked up 52 threes tonight. But I do have to ask you, and everybody in here listening, do you agree with Zach staying in and going through it all year? If he was in that much pain after the Golden State game where he tweaked the knee in January, should he shut himself down? Also, what nobody else is talking about, everybody's loving to blame Zach for not shutting himself down. Okay, I hope they don't watch UFC or boxing or even sometimes football. Like when people get fucked up and they want to keep going because that's their competitive nature. That's when your training staff and or your front office should step in. So I'm wondering what you think.
Given that. Obviously, the reports that they put out are kind of controlled in the sense the information that's let out is the information they want to let out. So it's hard for me to sit here and kind of throw shade at the front office or the training staff that is brand new. We no longer have Jeff Tanaka here to blame.
Fuck you, Jeff Tanaka.
He's no longer here to blame either. We heard about the fluid being drained, but other than the fluid, it was portrayed as just aches, and Zach was medically cleared and structurally cleared. So it's really a tough situation, especially the way that things have unfolded. And if I'm Zach's agent, I'm saying Zach was 20% to close this year because the contrast between what Zach did to start this year before the Golden State incident as opposed to what happened after are two different players and two different paydays in a contract year. And I'm not going to get into that argument with anybody because if you don't think Zach LaVine's worth a max contract, I don't think we're watching the same sport. His offensive output when healthy warrants a max contract unless it comes out this offseason that there's a severe injury with this knee that's going to be a long-term issue. Zach's getting a max from somebody. So going into the discussion, the debate of whether or not you keep him, you sign and trade him, you let him walk, he's getting paid that money. You need to go to the table knowing that you're paying him that money unless you're comfortable losing him for nothing. And if you don't come approaching the table with that mindset, you might lose him for nothing.
Well, I mean, that's what it has to be here. And people are not understanding this. He's an unrestricted free agent. The only thing the Bulls have to offer him is an extra year on that contract.
And a little bit extra per year.
Right, and a little bit more extra per year. That is the only incentive here, okay? Number one. Number two, like you said, he will get a max contract from somebody. Number three, you don't let him walk for free. That can't happen. It needs to be a sign and trade deal. It needs to be something like that. For all the people saying, oh, just don't sign him, go find somebody else. I challenge you. I wrote this on OnTapSportsNet.com yesterday. I challenge you to tell me who. So we're either going to rebuild again, and you better hope you get fucking picks for him. You better hope you do because you only have one in 20 this year. We don't have 2023 and we don't have 2025. So you're not doing anything there. What assets are you going to trade to get first round picks? You think someone's going to give you a high lottery pick for a 33-year-old DeMar DeRozan? I bet that doesn't happen. I will bet my last thought it doesn't happen.
Any of the teams that would be interested in making that deal don't have a lottery pick to give up because they're in the playoffs. Right. And a team that wants a 32-year-old DeMar DeRozan is trying to win in the next year or two. And the contract that he has at that age, despite having probably a top 5 NBA individual season by player, obviously Jordan had more than one season, but of players not named Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan, individual seasons in a Bulls jersey, kind of hard to top what DeMar did this year in the regular season.
No, and
So,
and to see some of that to see some of the fan base be so shitty towards him, and they're like, oh, this is the playoff DeMar. We all know. Like, listen, man, I don't agree with Stacey King a lot, but he wasn't wrong tonight. He goes, they are shutting down DeMar DeRozan, and they are telling everybody else to beat you.
they let everybody else in the gym take open threes all night. They just said, here, take them. This guy's not going to beat us. If you're not going to hit these shots, we don't have to do anything else, but don't let him get to his spot.
Yeah, I'm glad you've seen it the same way that I saw it, because like anytime DeMar touched the ball, it was fucking swarm. If Vooch came up top and set a screen, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. They didn't care if Vooch was breaking out to the 3-point line open. They didn't care. They swarmed DeMar DeRozan, and they either forced him into a fucking a bad pass or a turnover. They have to reset again, and they're chucking up a three because the shot clock's running down, or they know they can't penetrate and get into the paint, so they're just chucking up 50 fucking threes in the game. I know we haven't talked a ton about the game. Yeah, watching Giannis, I am telling you now, I can't believe you always know my thing about division foes, right? Like, I cannot stand anybody in our division. I hate them. I hate them all. Milwaukee is just taking the cake over the Detroit Pistons for me, because I hate the fucking Pistons. I hate them when they're bad. I hope they get worse. Like, I cannot stand them. But Milwaukee has taken that title. I cannot stand Milwaukee, not because they're winners, because Giannis is so infuriating to watch, because if he doesn't have it going, the foul calls he gets after fucking borderline murdering somebody out on the court by throwing bows or shoulders. Like, dude, I can't watch that shit. I can't. It drives me nuts. And I'm not wrong here. I'm not being a homer here.
You are not being wrong at all. In this era of basketball that is not at all played that way.
This is not the 80s and 90s, Goose.
He's one of two guys that gets away with these calls, and they changed the rule book on a game-to-game basis.
And it's not right.
It isn't. Because you cannot just straight up fullback yourself through the paint to the basket, get the bucket, and then get rewarded at the free throw line.
Did you see what he did to Ayo in the third quarter when Ayo went fucking flying? And I'm like, okay. Okay, and I never get this way, but I'm like, okay, you know what? Send out Tony Bradley. Next time he goes up, I'm in fucking win.
Especially because it's a game that, from Milwaukee's standpoint, the Bulls aren't going to hand it to you. They're not just going to let you take it. They got to keep their pride. They got to go out with some dignity. But to go about it that way too, I don't know.
I'm with you. It was almost infuriating. Not almost. It was just infuriating to watch. I want to bring up a fun stat for you real quick if you're into it. Bulls offense was so bad this series that they only scored over 100 twice. They only scored over 100 once, and they got to 100 once. So that was tonight. So they had a hard time scoring the rock here tonight. A couple playoff averages to get you. This is not factored in game 5 yet, unless I hit the refresh button. Maybe it has now. It still has not. But DeMar DeRozan he scored what tonight? What did he score tonight? He scored 11. So his average probably went down to 19 or 20. Yeah, probably went to 19 or 20 points a game here. Vooch was at 19.5. Levine was at 19.3. The next closest was Tony Bradley in just his one game with 10 points. Ooh, that's bad. And I gotta bring this up too. Stacey King tonight talking about the coming out party in the last couple games from Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams, outside of tonight's 24 points that he scored with adding only 1 rebound in. Yeah, I tell you what, he shot efficiently from downtown, no doubt about it. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not ready to say that he's the future of the team. I haven't been able to say that all year. I want to see it, but I don't know.
So with that being the case, I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to do an off-season show.
Yeah, we're going to do an off-season show for sure, yeah.
But just the prospect of the things that you just said, your 3 top players couldn't crack 20 points per game this series, couldn't get you over 100 points. Granted, you also pointed out that Tony Bradley was the next closest one.
He only appeared besides tonight. He only appeared in 1 game though, so I don't know how fair that is of me. But you know what I mean. It was just
that probably adds insult to injury.
Yeah, I was just trying to drive that point home. Really,
that the guy played 6 minutes in 1 game and he was able to boost his average up to the top of the fucking rotation players. That's not fucking good. garbage time or not. No, guy didn't play 20 minutes all series, and he's got the highest average. No, there's no way to make that sound better.
It's bad, dude. It's just bad all the way around.
But hearing both of those comments back to back and hearing how our stars struggled in this series and our one prospect for the future, showed some things, but still, what do you do?
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. I know we're going to have a show about it, but honestly, I don't care about talking about it right now. We'll do it again. I know we have loyal listeners who will listen no matter what we talk about here. I really don't want to talk about how Giannis fucking throat punched us tonight. Again, I don't, but it happened. And that Pat Connaughton motherfucker, man.
No, this is the first game that he showed up. This was his tune-up game for the Celtics because he didn't show up the rest of the year.
Yeah, and it's just fucking like Grayson Allen too. What the
fuck? We created that monster.
I know.
And we have to take full ownership for that because Grayson's own teammates fucking boo him now.
He's on fucking steroids. I'm throwing it out there. There's no way.
So that's why you'd lose to him in a fight. It all makes sense now.
No, he whipped my ass regardless. But I would take that ass whipping. I'd go. We'd find out. And I'd lose right away. We find out quick because I'd lose, but I tried.
Quick.
I'm just so fucking annoyed, man. But
we created that monster.
This guy killed us. He killed us when we were in the box on Sunday. Oh yeah, because we didn't do a Sunday fucking post game because I was in the box. So I had to take a sip of beer there. So we're in the box watching all this go down. Grayson Allen just fucking hitting shot after shot, and for a moment. I thought about swan diving out of that thing. This fucking sucks. I'm Grayson Allen. I'm sitting there booing this guy. I'm talking major shit. I mean, he can't hear me. I'm up in the fucking, the top suites. He can't hear me, but I'm screaming horrible things. Horrible things. I hope you slip on a banana peel. I never get 2 rated R. There's kids at these games, but I did. I did hope he slipped on a banana peel. I was pissed. But he comes out and he just fucking kills us. And then tonight he ignites a spark. And they didn't even need it. They didn't need the spark. He's that much of a piece of shit that he had to do that. I hate him. I fucking hate him, dude. I hate him. But yeah, so him and Connaughton today, fucking white men can't jump coming out here, beating our ass along with Giannis, who could just fucking elbow somebody in the mouth and walk away and be cool about it. Oh, also, fun fact about Giannis tonight, he took more free throws than the Bulls did. We can't bitch about that tonight. You know why? Because the Bulls took 52 fucking three-pointers and didn't even try to go in the paint. I don't know.
We've established how many we took. How many did we make of
free
those
throws?
52? No, threes of the 52.
I want you to guess.
12?
I do.
12?
Oh, okay, a little higher.
14.
Okay, 15. 15 out of that's good for 28.8%. So I'm going to be a nice teacher and I'm going to round up to 29.
So we shot Chris Dunn from the 3-point
line. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That's fucking. Oh wow, yeah, good for us.
They were wide open too, so full blown Chris Dunn.
Yeah, we shot 42% from the field, 39 for 92. They shot 43 for 87, which is good for about 49.4%. They shot 38.9% from downtown, 14 to 36.
How many offensive boards did they have? Because those seem to hurt me a lot.
Believe it or not a lot. They had 7. Bulls had 6. Yeah, a couple of them were garbage time for us, but that's what happened. Bulls were out rebounded though pretty badly, 51 to 37 tonight. The Bulls had 24 team assists on 39 made baskets. So I mean that's all right. I'm not even gonna get excited about it. It's the end of the fucking season. It's what it is. What it is. But yeah, I mean we had 2 blocks, or they had 2 blocks. We had 3, and we had 12 steals to their 10. So yeah, that's
I will not. There was a couple moments where I was like, "Oh, got it down to 11. Could have had that bucket from Kobe," and it was like,
"Oh, are you talking about that run they were starting to go on where they were in the 50s at this point, and they were coming back, and then there was a crucial moment where a steal came from Javonte Green's hands. Io broke down, going left, and Javonte turned the ball over, and then it kicked to Portis for a 3 in the corner. And when he hit that 3, I was just like, you know what? My soul had left my body at that point.
That was the last little glimmer of hope going away right there.
That was fucked, dude. There were so many moments too where I thought maybe I never let myself get too high tonight.
No, yeah, there was never really any moment where it was like yeah, we're going to steal this game. Zach's going to get cleared from protocols. We're going to make the dream happen. There's none of that going on. But there was a couple of where I was like, oh, yeah. I might actually be able to enjoy a couple moments in this game and have a glimmer of hope. And then Bobby hit that 3, and it just all went away.
Bulls only had 30 points in the paint tonight. Man, dude, that's rough. Both teams had 16 turnovers. It's just rough. I hate that the season's over, and I know, again, we're going to be doing a recap show here within the next week or so. We might even do it after the playoffs are done, while everything's said and done. But it was really fun this year, and I don't want to lose sight of that, even though, it's all done now. There's no more 2021-22 Chicago Bulls games to watch anymore. But we had a lot of great, fun moments on this show this year. Game 2 was fucking a magical time. I thought that was really cool because it kind of gave you a little bit of glimmer of hope. For everything that I could hope and pray for is next year is just a clean bill of health. I understand people are going to get hurt, but that's the bad thing about what we're talking about right now is because you and I, when we went back and forth the other day about if Lonzo's here, does that change how we lost? Does that change the 8-15, 8-15 at the end of the year? You know what I'm talking about, the schedule after the break. Does that change with Lonzo Ball? Or with Caruso getting his wrist broken, this chemistry that we were kind of seeing happen, does that change something? And I'm here to tell you, I still don't know. I don't know if it would have changed anything because we got to see elite talent up close and personal in a 4-game series. I'd like to think it would, for sure.
Well, and at the end of the day, what me and you think what Lonzo would have done doesn't matter. Does this front office think that Lonzo missing and the fact that Lonzo really hasn't played over 50 games very much in his career to begin with,
right?
Does Lonzo being there change that? And can you count on Lonzo being there in the future when you get there again? These are all questions they have to ask. Our answers probably different than theirs. We're feeling stuck. Maybe they're feeling accomplished right now. Maybe they see the future for Pat. They see the timeline of DeMar handing that torch off to Pat. Their contracts line up in that sense. They pay Zach. They roll this over, swap out some role players that can actually play defense and shoot the ball. And maybe they feel like they're in this thing with a healthy roster. And maybe we do, just pick up a rookie here and add some nice role players that aren't Matt Thomas because
run it back with just maybe a couple holes filled.
Yeah, in a sense, Milwaukee, can they get better?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
If Portis walks on them in the offseason, you don't think that's a big hit to their team?
Oh, I definitely think if Bobby leaves, that's a big hit to them. But I think that
that's my thing. One we hear about this idea, mainly because we're Bulls fans and we got to get 2 3-peats, how hard it is to sustain the commitment to winning when you've done it, to keep that edge when it's already been done. All right, we want to repeat. You repeat. How strong is your conviction to 3-peat? Right. The resolve just isn't there for teams to make that happen. So at a certain point, do the Bucks disband? Does this powerhouse in the East go away? Does Ben Simmons actually play basketball next year? Do you feel with chemistry and health that you could be in a series with one of these teams? Did the standings just shake out the wrong way for you this year? If you got to play a shorthanded Brooklyn instead of Milwaukee, who's threatening? And do you feel any better? I don't. But do they?
Yeah. Well, you're right, because it doesn't matter what the fuck we think.
Exactly.
You're right. Yeah, you're 100% right. It doesn't matter what we think. It's just, I don't know, man. Again,
this was a measuring stick series. I don't feel like we measured very close up on the stick here.
I felt like this made me feel further away than anything. Honestly, again, I'm super happy we had a competitive, fun year that we have.
And we got
not only sound bites of this podcast, but video highlights of times our home opener together. Like how fucking nuts that was. The next night when you're like, fuck it, I'm coming back. And, you know, like we had a great time. Like, you know, and I hit 11, 12, 13 games this year, you know, like, and it was awesome. You know, like it was just a great year. I mean, I've had these tickets since 2018, man. You know, 2018. And they were fucking bad. Like they were bad. And like this year was like that wake up call. So then you get into like this euphoria, like this other universe where you're like, oh my God, dude, like we're killing it. We could win. Like, and you start
that Homer ignorance, that game
right.
2 Homer ignorance.
Oh, it came out at me too. I'm like, man, fuck that. We're coming back home. That is, you know, we got to take it seriously though. You know, I always have to, you know, preface it, you know, but like I felt great. I'm like, holy shit, we're going to go back to UC. That place.
You get the news before the game and that break. Middleton's not coming back.
Right.
You really thought this could be a series.
I'm telling you, dude, like I was up here. I have to tell you, Sunday was, I don't know how to explain the atmosphere there. I have been to playoff games before, man. Like I was at the game D Rose got hurt at, you know, like I was there, you know, like me and Juice went to, I think 1 and 2 that year. You know, I've been to like, you know, the 3 alphas, that shit. You know, I've hit the playoffs 2014 with Nate Robinson kicking ass. This was different. And I think it's because we were coming off being bad. Like, because I was young when we were coming off being bad last time. I wouldn't have been able to respect a different vibe in the United Center how I am now, where I fully comprehend what's going on. You know, the Bulls weren't bad for long. They've been a playoff team for most of our lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that 3-4 year absence.
Quite the stain that the Garpax era is in terms of playoff appearances.
Right.
They were pretty good at getting those first round tickets.
Right. And the thing is like just the vibe in there, man. Like I wish you were there. Like the vibe in there was insane. Even Burke was like, wow, dude, this is fucking nuts. Because we were talking, you know, like, and Juice was, you know, like, this is amazing. You couldn't hear yourself talking there. We were in a suite. We could not hear ourselves talk. That's how loud it was in there. So the fan base, I think, is fully invested back in. So again, I'm just trying to take.
Bulls are cool again. Mark and AK
right.
hit the nail on the head there. That they made us cool again, at least.
Right. Yeah, I think they did. I think they made us cool again. I think they need to make us even more competitive again. That's what they need to do. They need to get to the drawing board, look at the glaring holes, which is size, which is rebounding, which is perimeter shooting. Those, like, while we shot a good clip from 3 for most of the year, we didn't take a high volume. That just kind of doesn't cut it in today's NBA.
Well, it's because Zach and Lonzo and Vooch were the only ones taking our threes.
Right. But you see what Patrick Williams can do if the kid would just fucking put it between his ears and pull the trigger when these guys were in the lineup with them. I don't think we'd be talking about volume. But he also was hurt. So we got to take that into consideration. You have to be fair. If you're going to throw shade, you have to be fair while you do it. So I'm being fair. He did get hurt. The guy, when he had come back.
Do you think that's something that we've understated on this show is Pat's lack of chemistry throughout the regular season?
I think
and how that impacts. I mean, I don't know if we've touched on it. We've probably been more critical than we've been understanding.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I've been very critical. of Pat. And maybe it's because he was the 4th pick after guys like Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, where it grinds my gears. I mean, quite frankly, it does.
Well, it's not only that. We tanked for how long? Pat was finally our opportunity at having a chance at that franchise cornerstone in the draft,
right.
In the top 5. And between the injuries and the lack of assertiveness, it's hard to get that feeling of, you know what? DeMar had a great season, but you know what? It's clear that this window isn't going to work. Let's get what we can for DeMar and build around Pat. Like, there's nobody here, Pat included, that gives you that confidence that goes, nah, just rebuild. Just start over. Because you can't. You're invested in this to some degree now where you have to keep moving forward because you don't have those picks.
Right. Yeah. I think you were right. I think I should have taken into consideration the fact that Pat didn't get to gel with a brand new fucking team. I think that's a little unfair of me, honestly. I mean, he played 71 games in his rookie year. Obviously, it was that shortened schedule due to COVID. And then he played the 5 games in the beginning of this year before he went down. There's 82 games in a full NBA season. So that kid didn't even have the time to even put a rookie season of games in yet, technically, you know. So maybe I was a little unfair, and I'll say that I did scrutinize him a little bit, but I still am going to hold my stance of I don't see it. I don't see it.
No, I see the outside perspective of what could be, but I have not physically, with my own eyes, seen enough to go, he's that dude.
Right. So, I mean, now you have to look at the dudes that are here. Like you said, Zach, DeMar, what do you do with him, or Vooch, which is going to be, I'm sure, going to be a hot topic on our offseason show. I think he played damn near the best out of all the Bulls besides DeMar DeRozan's game 2 in the playoffs. I don't know if you disagree. I don't know if you agree. I'll give you the floor there.
No, I mean, even reading off the damn stat line, like the guy who was supposed to be your third option at the end of the series ended up with higher field goal percentage, same amount of points, probably more rebounds, more extracurricular stuff. None of them are good on fucking defense. So in terms of having to deal with Giannis, having to deal with the spacing of Milwaukee in general, because they have Brook Lopez, I think Vooch had the best series of anyone here.
And it's wild. And it is. It's wild. I mean, even tonight, look at his stat line tonight, 19, 16, and 6. I mean, he went 8 for 15 from the field. I really wish he would.
That's still over 50%. And how many of his shots came from 3? Fucking 8?
9.
9. Yep.
Good for you, right off the top of your head. God damn.
So just the fact that he's somebody that has been criticized so much this season, but in the series where it mattered the most, despite the fact that he had the toughest matchup, because he's the only one that ever really had Giannis as an assignment at any point of the game. I mean, DeMar tried to take some charges, and Pat was assigned him, but Pat didn't do anything to really get in the way there. Of your stars, Vooch was the closest player in proximity to the other team's best player all series. And I still feel, outside of game 2 where DeMar stole us that game, that Vooch had the best series. And
I think he did. I think in the playoffs for us he did. Now again, you could sit and argue whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
well, it's a bad thing for as a whole for the team.
Right.
But looking at the outlook of next year, he had a bad regular season shooting, but he's also your lowest paid star on your team. He's going to make like $20 million next year. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I also want to give a little bit of praise to Billy Donovan too. I went on that rant our last episode about people calling him out constantly. Not one, maybe outside of Steve Nash, NBA head coach, had to deal with as much bullshit as Billy Donovan did this year, and Frank Vogel too. I got to throw him in there. He got fired though, but I think Billy Donovan coached a great season. I think he tried to do everything he possibly could to help this team get to where they needed to go. And I will say maybe a little bit of lack of talent in the first full year of AK and Mark. And then all of these injuries, taking place. I mean, that's never easy, man.
You do not see a brand new team with less than 5 returning players from the previous years start out the gate that good and have that good of a season with all those injuries, all the COVID issues, all that. You do not have an instant culture that strong and a chemistry that great without a coach like Billy. Billy made all that possible from the offseason of being the coach here that kind of has talent look at you like, hey, no, I can play for that guy. I know he's going to listen to what I have to say. He's going to do his best to put me in the positions that I'm good at. And he's going to listen to what I think I'm good at and then apply that to what we need to accomplish as a team. So I know I can't throw any shade towards Billy. I don't expect his job to be in jeopardy at all come this offseason. I can't say enough about what Billy has done and just the opportunities Billy gives you being a player coach heading into the offseason as well. It continues to keep that door open for veteran minimums of players who can really help you because you have a coach and you have guys like DeMar and Zach and Vooch who all may still be here to attract people to come in at a discounted rate to make this contender dream maybe happen in a way that I didn't fully see the picture of to start the season. And the Bulls did make me believers despite how the season ended with the injuries and the dismantlement at home from the defending champs. I do feel that we're at least close enough to where you have the right role players, and we're getting excited, and we're talking about being fringe contenders again next year, which as quick as that turnaround was, I don't know, despite letting disappointment get in the way of the grand scheme of what happened this year, it was a success.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I mean, that's what I wanted to really try to do on this show tonight. Is I'm so thankful for everybody that tuned in this year. Full transparency for everybody that listens to this. We had our best year listen wise. And this was the first year, right? Or did we do last year live a little bit too? I can't remember.
Yeah, towards the end of the season.
Towards the end of the season. Okay, so like this year was our first full-time season of doing these live. Goose and I used to do this on Skype and record it from there, and then I'd edit and throw it up. But this was our best year listened. I mean, by miles and miles. Everybody in the comment section made this really fucking fun, and it was super, super fucking awesome. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Everything that kind of transpired this year, I hope we get it next year, but just added on some fun, added on some talent here that helps benefit your team. And we're doing the same thing that we did this year, next year, except we're going further. That's what I want to see. Now I have to ask, and I'd be remiss not to ask you. I wanted to keep this positive because this is our show. This is what we love to do. We love talking ball more than anything. We love talking basketball. Our Bulls are gone. Who do you got going forward coming out of the East and coming out of the West? Have you been able to really dive in? I know,
now, I think it's really hard for me not to have Boston as the favorite.
Isn't that wild? Because we didn't think that was going to happen.
No. Before the playoffs started, I was saying I wanted Boston. I don't think I wanted Boston.
No,
I don't think Milwaukee, without the prospect of having Middleton back until kind of the middle of that series, and maybe not even for that series, is very happy to be seeing Boston. Not that Brooklyn was a great alternative if they ever decided to get healthy either, but I think Boston out of the East has got to be my favorite, and then obviously Golden State. They look like they're going to have a second run at the dynasty, and that is. It's unfair, because the first time they did it, they did it so well through the draft without really any high-end picks. Everything just fell into place perfectly. You get somebody like Kevin Durant to come join the squad, and then he leaves, and you get all these lottery picks. You got Wiseman, Kuminga, Jordan Poole. You've got young talent out the wazoo, and you still have the best shooting duo that's ever existed, and Draymond Green, who's probably going to go down as top three at least, just for the sake of not having an argument, role players ever. Superstars in their role. Just the fact that they're gonna do it again is crazy to think. But those are my two favorites to finish out the playoffs here.
I actually have Milwaukee coming out, and not just because they beat us. I have Milwaukee coming out because I think if you go up and down the Eastern Conference and who remains, the best player on the floor will continue to be Giannis. And the complementary,
especially if you can keep forearm shivering people and getting free throws.
No shit. And with the pieces around him that complement his game, you're basically seeing what year was that? Help me out here. 2007 to 2008 Orlando. But
the more I think about it, you really have to applaud Milwaukee for all the times that you've heard, like with LeBron, you just got to get shooters around him. Yeah. Giannis got some fucking shooters.
Yeah, it's wild. And you know what's crazy too? The shooters that he has, and Connaughton's not even bad, but a Wesley Matthews or a Drew, those are fringe two-way guys. They're 3-and-D guy. I mean, well, Drew could do more than that, but Wesley Matthews back in the day, remember when he was with the Trailblazers? He was a bad motherfucker. Wesley Matthews was not a joke. He was a very good player, a very sought out after player as well, a couple times. There's some real talent around him that
not only shoots the whole bow and arrow three. So
yeah. So I got Milwaukee. I got Milwaukee coming out of the East, and I do have them running into the Golden State Warriors. And I think it's going to be too much to overcome for Milwaukee because while Giannis might be the best player on the court all around when they meet Golden State, Stephen Curry is It's Steph Curry. And he's got guys like Klay Thompson, Jordan
So
Poole.
do you
like
think Steph finally gets a Finals MVP this year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And if it's not him, I'm gonna say Jordan Poole, man. You know what he's averaging?
If Jordan Poole,
Do you know Andre Iguodala got one?
For playing defense on LeBron,
I'm saying
Jordan Poole's not going to be tasked with Giannis.
I know
if
that.
If Draymond got the award for shutting down Giannis, kind of thing, I would still cry for Steph, but I could understand it.
Average though, no one expected that.
No one expected that, but Steph's going back into the starting lineup now too, so
that's very true. That's very true. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, dude. Poole is like, how do you take somebody out of the give him less minutes like that? You can't.
I don't know how he wasn't considered more for most improved.
Oh,
that blew my mind.
Did you see that Ja gave it to Bane?
No.
Yeah, he gave his most improved player award to Desmond Bane, because he was just like, what? How do you win Rookie of the Year and then win most improved? How come that didn't happen for Derrick Rose then? I'm serious. Why did that not happen for him?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I think Poole should have got it. I really do. I agree with Draymond Green. I don't know if you've gotten to check out his podcast yet, but you want to talk about a dude that like is still in it, but like literally is like the least biased guy I've ever listened to in my life. You have to listen to him. He interviews players from all around the league, past, present. He's amazing at his podcast, but he said Poole should get it. And you look at Jordan Poole's numbers and how he had to step in this year. I agree. He should have got it. John Morant, though, I got to say, like, holy fuck was I wrong on that, dude. Because I Murray State, like, I'm like, oh, he's beating bums. He's beating bums like me at the local YMCA. And like he comes in the NBA and he just dunks on motherfuckers. Nothing. It's just easy for him.
Yeah, I had
that game with Minnesota was
some
amazing.
of my Ja takes were not great, and that probably came from the uncomfortableness of people comparing him to Rose. And now that he's with athletes in the same caliber as him, well, not really in the same caliber, but at least in the world, these are the guys that are going to stack up with him. And he's still, it is amazing, the fearlessness of that kid. And I really hope that it's sustainable, because I do not want to see what he brings to the league go away like we had to watch it be changed and disappear, and watch him re-figure out how to make it in the league like we had to with Derek. I hope that his longevity has a lot more staying power.
So Zach Kleiman is the GM for the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know if they gave out that award yet, but he should definitely get it.
Well, no, especially due to the fact of what the Grizzlies' record without Ja was, which just
17-2 or something. Like, it was stupid.
So with that being incorporated on top of being able to put a roster around a star player that you drafted, but also being able to put together a team good enough to sustain winning without their best player, that award probably should be somewhere in that general vicinity.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Everybody that's
unless it's Golden State. Unless it's Golden State.
Well, right.
Once again, I can understand that too.
Right. Again, everybody that's listening, sorry we kind of broke away from the Bulls talk into our general NBA talk, but that's just what happened when you're a hoop head. All in all, thank you guys, every one of you, for listening, participating, everything like that. We hope to see you. We will actually put a date out there. We won't just do it fly by the seat of our pants like we always do. We'll actually put a date out there for our season recap show, and then pick out some of our favorite moments from the year, things that we would like to see gone differently, and then also we'll touch on the off season. We do, like Goose said, we do have a first round pick this year. It's the 18th pick. We have 10.
I don't even think we've touched on the fact that we won the tiebreaker.
Right. Yeah, we never even touched on that either. So there's a lot for us to talk about still. The Bulls on Tap is not over yet. We're going to have our recap show, and then we'll go into the off season and cover accordingly from there. But again, thanks to everybody. We had a fun year, and I can't wait to do it again. Goose, you got anything else, man? Anything else you'd like to say before we get on out here for our last post game?
Just kind of echoing your sentiment there. Thank you for everybody that does tune in, especially on the nights where it's losses and it's not something you really want to relive or talk about. Coming in and shooting the shit with us, it makes it easier for everybody. It's kind of really cool, the mini community that we built here in the comments, and I hope that that continues to grow, and you guys join us next year, because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, we will definitely be here talking Chicago Bulls basketball no matter what, and I think it's going to be a lot better too. So everybody be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at BullsScripted, me at BuzzOnTap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Again, thank you everybody for listening all year long. We'll announce the date for the season recap show here probably in a couple days. Just look at Goose and I's Twitter or the Bulls on Tap Twitter. I would say let's go Bulls, but
We're done.
Yeah, we're done. So I'm going to go crack a beer. We'll see you in a little bit then, huh? I'm going to go crack a beer. Everybody have a great night. Let's go Bulls.